I'm going to be honest with you. If you have to ask that question of yourself, you probably shouldn't. You probably should not buy cryptocurrency if you have to ask yourself if you should buy cryptocurrency. To those people who are buying cryptocurrency, to them, it's a compulsion. To them, it's a no-brainer. To them, and to me, we don't just think of it as a get-rich-quick kind of thing. We believe in the future of it, we believe in the idea of it, and we think it's worth the risk. And yeah, it is a risk. Cryptocurrency is speculative. That means there's no guarantees. There's no guarantee that it's going to go up. There's no guarantee that it's going to be around tomorrow. I don't care what anybody says. Bitcoin is very speculative, and things like NFTs are even more so. So if you have to ask a question if you should buy some, you probably shouldn't. And yet, if you're asking the question because you're just on the fence and you just need a little bit more encouragement, I think it's worth the risk. Now, I'm not a financial guru. I don't understand all of this stuff, but if you have a portfolio of other things and you're looking for the next thing to invest in, then I think it's part of the mix. Let me show you some numbers. This is my Coinbase account. I have cryptocurrencies elsewhere as well. I have a little bit on Binance, a little bit on Kraken, a little bit on Bittrex, but this is where most of it is. I mostly just use those other ones when Coinbase doesn't have the crypto that I'm trying to trade. And I do recommend Coinbase. It's probably the safest, easiest way to start doing crypto. Honestly, some of the other ones can be pretty confusing, dealing with wallets and transfers and all kinds of weird stuff, but this is easy. I'll put a link in the description if you want to get started. They'll actually give both of us free crypto if you sign up with that link. But check this out. This is my portfolio this month, and it doesn't look great, does it? But once again, we're going for averages. We're thinking about long term. So if you click all, you can see that I started with nothing. My first investment was like $100, and I did invest more. I invested $100 here and there. Total, I think I invested maybe like $1,500, and I've actually taken that out. So everything that's left in there is actually pure profit. And right now, my portfolio is worth $6,500, and that's all profit. In a period of about 4 years, my investment of about $1,500 grew to about $8,000, and I took the first $1,500 out just to be safe. And I'm willing to just let that ride at this point. It didn't cost me anything. I got my investment out of it, and I do think that I invested early enough before that big boom that it was majorly worth it. But I also wish I invested 2 years earlier. I'll talk about that here in a second. That being said, I don't think it's too late to get in on it. I think it still has a lot of room to grow. In fact, if Bitcoin or something like it is a wave of the future, if it is the future of currency, and I think it might be, then it's still only at the very beginning of its growth. Now, that is a big if, but to me, it does make it worth the risk. Just real briefly, let me show you what I got. At least on Coinbase, over half of my money is in Bitcoin itself. Then I have Ethereum, NuCypher, Litecoin. I did throw some in Shiba Inu, which is like a joke one. But it's also gone up a little bit, so I'm happy with it. Then I have just a little bit more in several other ones, usually because Coinbase gave me some for free, which is another perk of Coinbase. Oftentimes they'll give you free crypto just by answering some questions about it. And when they do that, a lot of times I'll throw another $100 into it just to have more than like $3 into it, which they give you for free. But to me, once again, that's worth it. You'll have to decide for yourself if it's worth it to you. There's risk and there's reward, and that's pretty much how money goes. I also got some Dogecoin, see? Now, I will say that I'm not extremely selective or strategic in my investments with crypto. I really ought to do more research into it, but I just don't have the time for that. I'm just an average guy. To me, it's a fun game to play. It's fun to see it go up, and I don't get too worried if it goes down. I only put money into it that I'm willing to lose. And at this point, I'm not losing anything at all because I already got my investment out. I'm happy with it. I can tell you this, I wish I would have invested in it sooner. 6 years ago, somebody offered to pay for a product that I was selling with Bitcoin. The product was like $150, and he asked me if I would accept Bitcoin or PayPal. He would give me either one. Now at the time, cash was a little tight, so I really preferred the PayPal. However, if I would have accepted that $150 worth of Bitcoin, today that $150 would be worth like $34,000. Man, that was a lesson learned. I kick myself in the butt about that like all the time. Now, I didn't know back then, but I do know today. It's worth the risk. I wouldn't go putting all my money into it. Some people do that, and I think it's crazy. I'm just an average guy. But if you have a portfolio of other things and you're looking to expand that, I think it's worth the risk. Now, I know I sound like a broken record, but everything I understand about investing and money management says that diversification is a good thing. And in today's economy, Bitcoin is one of those things that if you want to diversify, stick a little bit of money into it. Don't put your savings into it. Don't put more into it than you're willing to lose, but it's probably not going anywhere, and it's probably going up. So I'd say, yeah, if you're on the fence and you really want to invest a little bit, it's worth it. But don't take my advice. I'm just an average guy.